folks, today is Friday, June 30th, 2023. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. There's a lot, and just a disclaimer, I've been saying this, but just in case some of you missed it, the Friday show is going live earlier in the day on Fridays. So depending on what time zone you're in, that might be better for you. But here on the East Coast, New York time, we're usually making the video live at about 1 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, just if you're ever looking for it, now you know. But we got a bunch of news to talk about, so let's just jump in. The first is more Microsoft Activision Blizzard stuff from the FTC hearings. We still don't have anything where it's like, what's going to happen? No real update on that, and I'm not smart enough to decipher that anyway. But we do have a bunch of spicy, hot gossip and drama coming out of these hearings, thanks to just kind of everything being laid out on the table. We have corporate emails, filings, redacted things, all kind of coming out from both Sony and Microsoft, and we talked about some of them last week, but there's been some more revelations this week. One of the things that has come out is seemingly one of the reasons why Xbox purchased Bethesda. This comes specifically from the FTC hearing stuff from head of Xbox Phil Spencer himself, who, according to Yahoo News, claimed that Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda was motivated by a fear that Sony might incentivize the studio to skip the Xbox platform, specifically around Starfield, when Starfield was first being a thing, speculating that Sony could pay Bethesda not to ship the game to Xbox. Phil Spencer then highlighted the exclusivity stuff from Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop, and saying that those were a major impetus for the acquisition of ZeniMax, or Bethesda. So that's very interesting, considering Microsoft always touts how good their relationship with Bethesda has been since the early days, getting Morrowind on the original Xbox and stuff like that. But they were apparently feeling a fire under their ass because they didn't want to see Sony work with Bethesda to get exclusive marketing rights or whole console exclusivity for Starfield, which is interesting. Is that all of the reason why Xbox bought Bethesda? No, probably not. They also probably just wanted a bunch more games, but that was just an interesting tidbit. If you want to read up on that, just know that this and everything I talk about, as usual, will be linked in the description down below. All the sources and stuff for you. One thing that I really liked that came out of this hearing was a bunch of, I think I could talk about this, redacted filings, court filings from Sony. These were pretty quickly removed, but essentially a lot of the paperwork had parts that are redacted out, blacked out, which is a normal thing for court filings for private information that companies can or don't want to show. But they just didn't use a dark enough pen so you could see through what was redacted, and people were able to kind of cobble together and see what was actually behind some of those lines. So we have some cool information, specifically stuff around how much it costs to make some of the big Sony first-party titles. Sony and a lot of game industry companies, publishers and stuff are pretty secret and tight-lipped about these types of things, but now we know that The Last of Us Part 2 cost Sony a whopping $220 million over the course of about 6 years with 200 full-time employees. And another one that came out was Horizon Forbidden West, which was $212 million over a 5-year period with 300 full-time developers. Now, it's worth noting, Polygon and other sources pointed this out, that this doesn't necessarily mention the marketing budget, all the advertising stuff, and outsourcing stuff. This seems to be internal development costs, but still, that's a lot of money. You knew this stuff was going to be a lot of money, right? But actually seeing the number written out, it's crazy. I also can't comprehend that much money, so it's kind of abstract for me. But yeah, it doesn't come as a surprise. Those big, crazy, expensive video games cost a lot of money to make. They're crazy. But one other thing that came out from this whole bit of the hearing is also the information around Call of Duty and PlayStation. This is actually pretty significant, and I want to point this out because if you're watching this show, you're a gaming news junkie, right? You're in this world, but we always forget to kind of acknowledge the more casual players, the people who just play Fortnite, or the people that just play Call of Duty. And Sony has some data, it seems that there are some people that really just play Call of Duty. I shit you not. PlayStation head Jim Ryan, according to Ars Technica, suggests that 1 million PlayStation owners exclusively play Call of Duty games. That's it. That's the only thing they play on their PlayStation device. And up to about 20 million more spending either significant or majority portions of their PlayStation time in just Call of Duty. So, wow. Call of Duty is still a juggernaut, and I think even if at some point it fails or people completely lose interest, it's one of those things at this point, it's so big that it's going to take a long time to really fizzle out. But in other news, let's talk about that new Perfect Dark game. Hey, Andrew, you excited for the next Perfect Dark video game? You excited to see the return of Joanna Dark?
If it ever happens.
Yeah, that's the story here. If it ever happens. So a really good in-depth report from IGN, citing some unnamed sources, some people working behind the scenes with the game, state that the new Perfect Dark game is still a ways off. This is because apparently when that trailer was revealed, that big flashy trailer a couple of years back that just kind of teased things, the game wasn't really even in motion yet. Along with that, according to this report, it has faced some significant change-ups, kind of shifts in direction, and changes in leadership. Along with that, as we know, we've reported in the past, this studio is now also linked up with Crystal Dynamics specifically, and apparently now that partnership is working out, they were originally kind of going through employees and trying to build a team properly, but now that development has shifted and kind of partnered with Crystal Dynamics, it seems like things are starting to move along. So still, it's a pretty interesting report if you do want to read it. It's a good breakdown as to how this stuff works. There's nothing too spicy about it or nothing like super awful or bad or in trouble about it. It just kind of is that whole like this happened and then this happened and then this changed, and that it just kind of happens sometimes. It's a good answer for why sometimes you see games announced and then you go, hey, whatever happened to that game? This is a perfect example of why sometimes these things take a long time. Hey, next up, let's talk about today's sponsor. Do you ever lose track of how many subscriptions you're paying for? I'll admit, I'm usually on top of my stuff, but every so often, sometimes something slips through the cracks, and then when that charge hits, it's like, ah! So between subscriptions and everything else coming into your accounts, did you know that on average, Americans lose over $250 on overdraft fees and late payments? Well, thankfully, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, can help with that. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance platform that helps you save more and spend less. You can manage your subscriptions, lower your bills, create a custom budget, and it's all easy. At this point, I've been using it for a long time, and it's just done a lot for me in terms of keeping me organized. I am a genuinely messy person, so I like seeing my savings and all my subscriptions and bills and everything at a glance. But along with Rocket Money showing all your subscriptions, they can actually cancel them for you. You just press a button. That's it. You don't have to call anyone on the phone, which is great because I hate doing that. You can monitor your credit. They have useful budget notifications. There's so much to Rocket Money, so you should consider checking it out. To save more and spend less, join the 3.4 million members using Rocket Money. Head to rocketmoney.com/gameranx. Click the link in the description down below to get started for free or unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/gameranx to get started for free. So get your money right in 2023, and big thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. Next up, let's just talk about something cool. I want to share this with you guys. A couple of you guys sent this to me. Big shout out to you for that, because this is very much like my type of thing. Small Soldiers. Incredible film, great toys, underrated. There was a really good PS1 game that was like technically not good, but we didn't care. We loved it, didn't we?
Game is good.
Yeah.
It is.
Is it good? I haven't played it in 25 plus years. Let's just assume it's still good. Well, Small Soldiers might be back, believe it or not, because we have a proof of concept trailer in Unreal Engine 5 that looks absolutely gorgeous. And this looks kind of like a reimagining, revitalization, reboot of Small Soldiers for what could possibly be an animated film or a game, because this is by Commodron Studios, who technically have developed like a mobile game. Unfortunately, that's really it, but they are listed as both a movie and video game developer. Apparently, they do have their hands on some sort of IP with Small Soldiers, but they're changing it up. Like, you clearly have characters here inspired or like almost spiritual successors of the Gorgonites, and like we have a character that's kind of like this like female cyberpunk version of Major Chip Hazard. But I think what I like to see the most about this little short film, which I highly recommend watching, it's just very entertaining, is that they really captured the detail of the characters being small plastic toys, the way they move, the way they have some dust particles and scratches on them. Like, it just really feels right. I would love to see this become like a full-fledged big AAA game. I don't know if it's going to be. Maybe it'll be a short film type thing, or it'll end up being really cool cutscenes for like a mobile free-to-play game, which absolutely sucks. But hey, let's hope for the best. I would love to see this be, picked up by a publisher, and Small Soldiers is back, but in the video game realm. I mean, like, even like the new reimagined characters, like they had kind of like a cool like Nick Nitro and like a brick bazooka with like the half robot face. It's just very inspired. And I just wanted to share this because I hope something comes of this. Got some other cool things linked in the description down below. A new gameplay trailer for Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, which we've talked about like some more gameplay details about that recently, and thankfully the release isn't that far off. Also, public service announcement. This is a pretty nice surprise. The big final full release of Baldurs Gate 3. It's actually now releasing like almost 4 weeks earlier on PC. So if you're on PC, you're going to be able to play the full game on August 3rd. I remember we jumped into like the early access way back when that first launched, and that was already pretty great. So I have high expectations for this whole full product. This whole product. Why do I sound like a robot? What the hell's wrong with me? We're looking forward to this product. Excuse me. God. Also linked a trailer for a game called Dave the Diver. This is like one of the newest quirky, fun indies hitting the scene that people seem to be really loving because the concept is pretty brilliant. You're like a diver guy, and it's like a deep sea diving game, but then it's also you co-managing a sushi restaurant at the same time. Just creative, weird spins on games. People, they always say to my face, like, I'm so bored of games. Every video game is the same. No, they're not. You just have to look for them. But we gotta link it. I always do. Eli Handel B dropped another absolute banger. This is God of War mixed up with Adam Sandler, specifically Big Daddy, aka one of the last great Adam Sandler movies, if you're counting like the Happy Madison stuff. But it's just incredible. We'll let it speak for itself. If you like it, definitely share it with your friends. I always see people like just cut these out and post them on social media and then go, who made this? But like, you know who made it. It's Eli Handel B. Also, if you're looking for something and you want to feel kind of old, it is the 25th anniversary of Banjo Kazooie. And VGC had a great interview with some of the original people behind the game. It seems like a very cool watch, so I linked that in the description down below. Oh, and then like we're getting a new arcade-style football game. So I really used to, as much as I'm not a sports guy, I used to like NFL Blitz, NBA Street, stuff like this. And now we have Epic and Saber Interactive, believe it or not, with this game called Wild Card Football. And it just seems like regular arcadey style, kind of over-the-top football. And I'm into that. That appeals to me way more than like the endless Madden or 2K type games. That was kind of like a surprise announcement, and it's coming this fall, October 10th. So we'll see how that is. Oh, but then we got to end on a hot rumor, a Red Dead Redemption rumor. Yes, a South Korean, you didn't hear about this? So Andrew just like slid over. The South Korean ratings board that often ends up kind of like leaking or just debuting this stuff early has rated a Red Dead Redemption. It's rated M, and it's not the listing of like Red Dead Redemption 2 or anything like that. So there's speculation that it's a re-release of Red Dead Redemption or a PC version or something. I don't know. This could be a clerical error, a typo, like a re-up on something old, or it could be something. I don't know. Like I said, the South Korean ratings board thing has often gotten things right, spilled the beans early. They've done it with things most recently like the Quake remaster and Quake 2 remastered, which is seemingly coming in August. We talked about last week. So I'm really hoping that we get something from this, because the original, as much as I really love Red Dead Redemption 2, the first Red Dead Redemption is just so simple and iconic, and man, I want to play that again. We'll see where that goes, but that is the video game news that has been going on this week. So let's talk about this stuff in the comments. From all the spicy stuff coming out of the Activision Blizzard, Xbox, Sony thing. Oh, the fact that we didn't even have time to mention that, like, from these, there was also word of a new Nintendo Switch successor that is technically more capable. Again, that's something like that we don't have confirmation on yet, but it's just kind of things trickling out here, things that we kind of saw coming or had been rumored before, but whatever. Anyway, tangent over. Let me know what you think about that stuff. Let me know what you think about some of the game releases this week. And of course, there's going to be a pinned comment that might have the sponsor link or whatever, but in that pinned comment, please drop what you're playing this week. It helps for our research. Thank you. But I'm Jake Baldino. You know where to find me. Catch me on the Friends Per Second podcast. Catch me on my channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino. Also on the Before You Buy videos. I'll see you over there. But thank you guys very much for watching. We're here every Friday to get you caught up pretty quickly. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the holiday if you're celebrating. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.